you.
Oh noes, hellos, and welcome back to another videos. Today we'll be taking a look at card v card. So we'll basically be versing other cards with other cards. So yes, and this one's going to be an interesting match. I think I've never done this before, but we're going to pair two legendary creatures together for an epic battle. Well, unless they don't just rap battle themselves to victory. This ought to be a good one because we have Narset Enlightened Mentor or Master. Is she really a master though? I don't know. She's holding something. She looks like a master. I guess so. And then we have Urza, Lord High Artificer, an oldie but a goodie. So this ought to be a good match. And looks like Urza is just ready to just jump right into this one. So, okay, so what we'll first be looking at is we'll be looking at Narset Enlightened Master. Will be our first card we'll be looking at. So she's got some decent stats. First strike and hexproof. Yep, that just screams broken already. Her mana cost is outrageously high though, like 3 blue, red, and white. Yeah, that's gonna be kind of hard to get out, and it's a 3/2, so pretty much anything can kill it, but not really because she has hexproof. So you get where this is going. Both of these cards are both degenerate, but this one is especially degenerate because let's look at the ability she does. So whenever this piece of degenerate crap attacks, exile the top 4 cards of your, yeah, okay, I'm reading that right. Jesus. Until end of turn, you may cast non-creature cards exiled with Narset this turn without paying their mana cost. So that already screams broken, right? What can you do with this mana? Well, you could put it into an extra turn spell. So, you know what decks this is played in. Now, you could kind of go another way too, like you can give her extra combats as well. Or you can go with the Omniscience plan and try to get out as many Omniscience as you can. Now, this deck doesn't really have a way to win just with Narset. Usually just wins with Approach of the Second Sun. So, yeah, this deck is pretty degenerate if that's the only way it wins with. And, yeah, this card is not even banned in Commander, so you can make it your Commander and go ham. Now, this does see occasional play in competitive EDH decks, so that's why it's just really, really broken in EDH, is because you can just cast stuff without paying its mana cost, why don't you? Now, it does take some setup, so that is one downside of her, is you got to set it up. You either have to get haste enablers, you got to get some mana rocks, you got to get some ramp going before you can really break this card. But other than that, if you're able to do that, you can win the game pretty much on turn 4 or 5. Yes, I've seen that done before. Just with a bunch of mana crypts and a bunch of like soul rings, you can win the game easily with this degenerate piece of crap. I really hate this card. I hope it dies in a fire. Which it won't. It will never die in a fire. It'll still be played in EDH decks. So yeah. And then next up, we have our mono blue friend Urza Lord High Artificer. 2 blue and blue. So at least that's a downside. But a 1/4, ugh, look at that terrible power. He is an old man, to be fair, though. So he's a little bit rusty at his craft. So when Lord High Artificer enters the battlefield, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. So that even accounts to itself. So it's basically just like Karn. It's basically Karn clone or something. I think that's what he's trying to get at. Alright, and then you tap and untap artifact you control and add blue. So basically, you're telling me all my mana rocks just became better and all my artifacts just became better. Oh boy, this ought to be broken. And then pay 5, shuffle your library. You may exile the top card until end of turn. You may play that card without paying its mana. Oh my goodness! Does every broken like commander have to have this? Like, can't cast it without paying its mana cost? I guess so. Why not? So, looking at this card in general, it's a mono blue deck, so you only have blue to work with. I would think that's the only problem with this card is that you only have blue to work with. But overall, everything else just seems pretty good. This is kind of an efficient body because you do get an additional body with it. The mana it gives you can really pay off if you just play this, and you can get a crap ton of mana just by playing this. And it has a mana sink ability. So what's wrong with this card? Well, the problem with this card is people will mostly go after you with this card if you play it in EDH decks. But that's not the only place it sees play. It actually sees play in modern Urza decks. Yes, there is actually a modern deck named after this card. And you want to know why? Because you get a crap ton of mana out of this guy. Because those two other abilities don't matter as long as you have the second ability, you're cooking with steam. Oh, yes. The fifth ability is just a mana sink, which actually just makes it better because then it's not a waste. You can actually do something besides get you mana and get you a body. It can actually just do something for you. So this card is really broken, as you can see. And yeah, it's also not banned in EDH. It's also not banned in Modern. Oof. So this guy is pretty powerful at what he does. So yeah. So now we're going to compare the two cards together, and we're going to put them up to a fight. Now, there's no simulation for this. I don't have the budget for it. But let's imagine what will happen. Okay, so if we, verse these two decks, in, paper, EDH, one-on-one, who would probably win? Well, according to data that suggests who would win, I think Urza might win because he just has he's more playable in more formats. While as Narset, it's only playable in one. So I can give the edge to Urza for winning more competitively. Now, in terms of generality, around the card, just the power of it, I think Narset might come a little bit ahead because you have more colors to play with. And also that you can cast way more spells with Narset, in addition to just, Urza's, shuffle your library, exile top card thing. Yeah, that's good, but Narset can do all four in one swing. It's just, yeah, and it's an attack trigger, not like a deal combat trigger. But yeah, if you have two of these cards, most people will go after you. So, but I would think people wouldn't really go after Narset because she has hexproof, because people can just kill Urza without hexproof. So I'll give the edge to Narset for just her generality of what the card actually does. Now, I'll also be going over the decks it sees played in. So, in Urza decks, of course, you would do an EDH. You would play like a Winter Orb or Stack-style deck. You would have advantage points, and you would also have disadvantage points. Like Winter Orb. Yeah, that can kind of shut you down if Urza is not out, but you could tap down the Winter Orb so you can untap. And that's what makes it good in mono blue stacks decks, is that you can take more advantage of the stacks than your opponents. And I feel like that is just really broken. While as Narset, there's usually only one, and it's probably only extra turns. You could put it in a board wipe deck with Mana Vortex and Armageddon, but usually you probably want to go with extra turns and finding your key combo pieces and stuff, especially Omniscience, because you can cast that in a dime. But the same with Urza too. You can cast Omniscience as well. Hell, have a mana sink with it as well. So yeah, I think two of these cards are broken. And I took a recent poll, and it was pretty much tied. So really, no one had an idea who would win. And I think I'm gonna give the silver goblet filled with beer and a bunch of tacos, and I put extra beans in the tacos too, and gets the works going. And I also added a cookie that says, "You are winner, you are God, you are the best at MTG." And guess who gets that big ass trophy styled plate of goodies? Ursa Lord High Artificer. I think I'm gonna give it to him because I think overall, I think Urza can actually handle himself against Narset because you can get out Urza way earlier than you could get out Narset. Yeah, you have the whole hexproof thing, but that doesn't really matter if she's not out. Urza could do way more stuff earlier game than Narset. I think Narset just takes a little bit more setup, and if you disrupt that setup, it's kind of hard to get back into the game. with Urza, if people destroy your artifacts, it's no big deal. Urza makes an artifact for you. And he'll give you benefits even if you don't have artifacts. If you just have a lot of mana lying around, pay its 5 ability. Who knows what you'll get? You might get something random, like I don't know, a mana vortex. I'm naming cards at this point. I just named the same card in this video, god damn it. But who knows? Maybe you might get a storm card of sorts. You can't get Paradox Engine anymore. This card would be broken if it still had Paradox Engine. But it's banned in EDH, so you can't play it. So yeah, I think Urza would win just because of the sheer value of artifacts, how powerful artifacts are, and what you could do with those artifacts, and also the mana it gives you from it. So, yeah. And I think, yeah, Urza is just more powerful than Narset, honestly. Yeah, Narset, go cry to your mommy. The big boys are playing. This grandpa just beat you to a pulp. Like, literally. He could T-pose you. He could T-pose on you all day. He doesn't give a crap. So yeah, and that's gonna be about it. Let me know. I still have the poll up if you guys want to vote. And I would love to see what you guys' feedback is on this as well. Would you think Narset can hold an advantage against Urza? Can Narset make Urza obey to her orders? I don't think so, but I don't know. You guys have your own opinions and stuff. So anyways, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye and peace.